So hypergamy is on the decline. You can look this up.
I would argue it's actually on the incline.
Okay, so we don't got to go back and forth. Let's just see if it's true. So they say, number one, hypergamy is on the decline in Europe. So she's right. Hypergamy is on the decline.
Okay.
Why do we have higher divorce rates? Why do we have?
We don't have higher
marriages?
divorces. We don't have higher divorce rates in the past. And how long? How long?
Okay, so this is census.gov. So this is U.S. Both the marriage and divorce rates of U.S. women aged 15 and older declined from 2011 to 2021. So it's actually dropped considerably. So she's right yet again here. She's right.
You do it. You don't get it. Then you say, oh, college-educated women are more likely to get divorced. They're actually way less likely to get divorced. One of the best things you can do to actually prevent divorce is to get married to a college-educated woman, especially.
So hold on, we got a fact checker. It's because she been right. Is she spitting or is she not? But for one demographic group, marriages last longer than most. College-educated women have an almost 8 in 10 chance of still being married after 2 decades. She's right. Whether you are dick riding fresh and fit or not, she has been right 3 times in a row. Top5rapwebsite.com. You already know what's going on. Yo, I had to react to this video on Fresh and Fit. Shout out to the Back to the Roots YouTube channel. They had this girl on who I think they said she's a lawyer or like an OnlyFans person, but whatever, she just destroyed their total argument. Pretty much the core of what they stand for. And if you haven't seen my red pill videos, go watch that, yo. I'll put a little link in a card up here, or maybe it's up here. It's in one of these spaces. Go take a look at it. I hope no one is really watching this shit trying to be serious. I watch it. I'm not going to lie. I do watch Fresh and Fit. To me, it's like watching Jerry Springer. It's like watching ECW. Why would I go watch Olympic pro amateur wrestling when I can go watch ECW and watch a guy get put through a flaming table? So that's how I look at it. But apparently there are guys out there who, like Andrew Tate and then Myron Gaines and Rollo Tomasi, these are like you guys as like fathers or something. Like you guys really, dick riding. But anyways, let me get right into this video because she's surgical with it. She's surgical.
Well, here's the thing. You're demanding him to be monogamous to you, right? And
I didn't even say I demanded that, but if I don't want to have sex with him and he's like, what is he?
This is just the beginning. They're going to get into it in a minute. It's just the beginning. I don't know if I'm going to keep y'all for the whole 29 minutes, but I want to get through her points.
Yeah, fucking, like, I know we're all technically animals, but that's just a little, I like a more evolved man than that. He has to go step out.
Evolved line.
All right. Very interesting. Very interesting. So you want him to be faithful to you?
Depends if, so far in my relationships, we've had monogamous relationships, but I'm not diametrically opposed to open relationships either. It depends. We have to have communication, honesty, integrity.
All right. So they got to tell you up front is what it is.
I wouldn't tolerate it, like if it's one-sided the way you guys like things, but that's me.
So the whole argument is going to be why or should a man be open on his side versus a woman being closed on her side? Is that fair? That's basically where this is going to go, but then it's going to veer off and kind of go off topic. But that's where all this comes from, this question right here.
Oh.
And you could look at the title, Myron debunk of layer, debunk OF. I don't know what they mean to say here, but it's like as if he got the W here. Nah, bro, she broke him down, man. It was kind of speechless at the end.
We're all different.
Open on both
We're all
ends.
different. We have different values.
You want it to be open on both ends?
If it was open, it would have to be open on both ends.
I mean,
If
I'm
it was
gonna skip
open.
ahead. I'm gonna skip ahead.
when it comes to dating, man and women,
Mhm.
do we bring the same thing to the table?
Sometimes, yeah.
How?
Well, how not? Why not? You're the one making the claim, so you have to defend the claim.
Okay, no. Once again, I'm asking you, what do we bring that's different?
I don't bring it. We're different genders, but for instance, I don't like the traditional you pay my bills and I give you sex. Like, that's not for me.
From a biology standpoint,
Mhm.
we have different parts, right?
What do you mean if we have different parts? Yes.
So are we the same?
I didn't say we were the same. I said we're equal. You guys.
So I don't know what argument Fresh is trying to make here. He let Myron do the debating. We have different parts, or are we the same? No, we're not the same. So we're not equal. What? Different does not mean being different does not mean not equal.
Guys, this is very
Hello.
simple. Equal doesn't mean the same.
Thank you.
I have a point though.
Wait,
Sorry, you had something?
Yeah, well,
Go ahead.
personally,
And look, she worked for them back here.
wait.
Sorry, you had.
She acting like what the girl just said don't make sense. But when she first came on, that's the type of stuff she was talking before, she got employed by them and all that. So, you gonna have some dick eaters on the people that come, that work here, like these two, the other girls, people who watch this all the time, even the guys in the chat, it's gonna be dick eaters who never want to be like, yo, what you just said was wrong.
And
that's harmful to the group. It's harmful to the podcast. Like you gotta hold them accountable, man.
Yeah, well, personally, I mean, not trying to offend you, but
Sure.
I don't think that we are equal for the fact that women were born with value and men weren't. So, and I have a
So she just regurgitating what they say on the show all the time. She's just vomiting their talking points.
brother too, so I can back it up that it's harder for men because they have to struggle a lot. They have to put more effort. They have to make sure that they look good and everything. And not saying that we don't want to look good either, but we're already born with a high value. So only that way that we can downgrade is honestly if we, sorry, not trying to be disrespectful, but if you show yourself in an incorrect way or you make yourself look like a
These are all fresh and fit talking points.
hoe.
Okay, so
It's
you've been
basically-
watching some of their episodes. I can see it's like
Well, I
literally
don't see
him
any
word for
problem
word.
anyway.
Facts.
But I mean, I think we're all born with value. Like we're not like fucking Hitler. Like everyone's born with value.
Whoa.
If you're saying that some men are not, or men have to work,
Was that supposed to be like a Hail Hitler joke? Because he's doing it
Born
wrong.
with
He was
that.
doing like the army salute.
value.
Whoa.
If you're saying that
The Hail Hitler goes straight out. It doesn't go up to your forehead.
some men are not, or men have to work for their value, I don't know what that means. Like they have to work
Well,
to
it's
be
'cause
attractive.
You're a woman, so it's hard to
So because
go
I don't
through
have
that
to work to be
experience.
attractive, and they have to.
She said it's because you're a woman, so it's hard to. No, she's going over your head right now. She's going over your head. And let me just say, I'm not like a supporter of OnlyFans. Like I don't think this is like I don't think that's good for society. I don't really respect that as a profession. But I'm not gonna pretend like she's not spitting when she's spitting. It's like when I react to music, I'm not gonna listen to some shit that's hot and act like it's not hot. I'm not gonna pretend, man.
To work to be attractive, now everything's unequal, and they can. I just don't subscribe to that.
I mean, it's the reality that for a man to mate, he has to bring significantly more accomplishments to the table to have the same options and the ability to get with the opposite gender that a woman has. By the time a woman's 18 years old, she's able to, if she's attractive enough, she can align herself with some of the top tier men. A man has to become top tier to even be able to get the chance a lot of the time.
So why does that mean though that you should be able to act on that? Like I know you make the argument that it's easier for women, but that if something's wrong, it's wrong. It's easier for you to kill me than it is for me to kill you. But
Well, let me ask
murder's
you
still
something.
wrong.
Let me ask you something. You go,
Bars.
That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about
So
that.
she took debate class in high school or college for real.
in the legal world.
Yeah.
Are you and a paralegal the same?
No,
Oh,
But how-
and I love how you didn't like how you had disdain for when I brought that up.
I
The
didn't have
reason
to
why-
say. I just had to think because it's a non sequitur. But
No. I'm going to explain the analogy.
Non sequitur. It hit different when she using big words like diametrically opposed and non sequitur.
It hit
Hit
different.
Here, the reason why is because you had to go through a lot more trials and tribulations to earn your title versus the paralegal went through a fraction of the schooling that you did. So you guys are not the same. So therefore, they don't have the same authority that you do as a lawyer because you busted your ass to become one. A paralegal is out there helping you with what you're doing, but you're the leader because you earned that right.
But relationships aren't like I earned the
Relationships are
authority.
though. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because men are expected to protect and provide for women in general in a traditional relationship. So if I'm expected to protect and provide for you, I have some authority. I need to have some authority over you because I'm responsible for you.
First of all, not all relationships have this traditional.
I understand your perspective.
Traditional.
I get that.
Yeah.
Not every single relationship is traditional. However, a majority of women, you might not be it, but I'm just making an argument for the majority.
Mm-hmm.
A majority of women prefer and would enjoy a traditional relationship where the man is the breadwinner, the protector, and the provider. Women typically, when they work, don't want to pay the majority of the bills. Most women want to work what I say electively versus the man must work from a mandatory standpoint.
I don't know if that's true. I think if you gave women a choice, like, do you want a guy who pays for everything? Da, 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 like, they would be like, yes, of course. Like, we would like a man who's 6 feet. But in practice, that's not what I've seen. That, for me, it's anecdotal evidence. But the women I know in life all work. The women I know with families work. You know what I mean? It's a 50-50 household. So, and I think that's the same for relationships across America. So, the same the 1940s, you know what I mean?
I think if I land up 100 women, they'll prefer the guy to be the breadwinner and she could work on her own terms.
They will prefer that, but that's not what happens in practice. You look at their past relationships, their current relationships, even the relationships that they'll go into. The odds of you, man or women, meeting someone who can fund your lifestyle and their lifestyle without you having to work is very rare. That's just not economically how our economy works anymore.
So you think being the breadwinner automatically gives you that authority because you're earning the money, and whatever she's providing to the relationship is not as valuable in a traditional way.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that as the breadwinner, that is just one of many components that puts the individual in the authority position, which I would argue the man needs to be in that position for attraction
But
to be
you're
maintained.
assuming that the breadwinner role gives somebody that authority.
It's just one component of it.
One component. Okay, so just keep in mind, because the argument is going to veer off track. But this is all from the point. The point they're trying to make is, why is it okay for the man to step out but not the woman? The relationship to be open on the man's end but not the woman's. That's where all this conversation is coming from. Just keep that in mind.
What's the other component?
The protector and the provider and the leader.
Okay, and she's providing, I'm saying, in a traditional relationship, the home and the kids. That's not equal.
I never said that's not important.
But is that equal? No.
It's not equal within the confinements of a relationship because the man needs to be the leader.
So that's not as important. Raising your children isn't important as
No, it's extremely important.
But is it as important?
Different.
Okay, different, yeah, but is it unequal? Because you're arguing it's unequal. So if you're saying unequal, that means one role is more important than the other, and that's what gives you the authority.
Well, the thing is that the roles that I have are very important to the survival of the family from a holistic standpoint.
And raising the next generation isn't important?
I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is that for us to even be able to have the child in a safe space as in a family, I need to make sure that I'm on point for us to be able to have that child to thrive. I mean, we forget about all this because we're in a modern day society with, technology and all these modern conveniences. But, you got to remember that human beings are, a progression of a bunch of conditioning. So before, we didn't have all the modern conveniences we did now. So the man had to be the leader and the protector and the provider to ensure that his wife was safe and the children were safe. So he was the head of the household for that purpose.
But we're not in hunter-gatherer times anymore. We've evolved for millions of years, and I don't think we just malfunctioned in 2023 by having less stringent gender roles. We're evolving to our times and our circumstances. So to constantly be like, well, in hunter-gatherer times, millions of years ago, or whatever many years ago, this was the way. If that doesn't apply to now.
And that's something they do on a podcast also, like, well, on this podcast, they'll go, well, in hunter-gatherer time, since the beginning of time, it's been... Bro, we're not back then. We're in current times, bro. So you got to evolve the argument. You're arguing like as if we're still, in an agricultural society.
Well, you need to withstand rational inquiry. So if you have a belief of yours, it has to withstand rational inquiry for the time. So you can't be like, well, this is how it is because it's evolutionary reason that I'm saying. If it doesn't.
Rational inquiry. Hey, yo, I got to go look that up. She ain't started cooking yet. She has not started cooking, but she's getting there. Plurality of questions and observations leading to answers and greater awareness. Okay. Just get our terms right. It makes sense
in 2023.
We don't want to be ignorant.
You're stupid for following that.
Okay, really. So let's go ahead with some rational inquiry. Okay. Why is it that women still prefer men that are stronger than them, taller than them, make more money than they do, are superior to them in almost every regard, even though they're able to create their own security with their own jobs, get their own education, protect themselves through the police state? Why do women still screen for all these factors if they don't need it and we live in this modern world?
Well, it's changing. So yes, women still, because it's still recent, especially if we look at our whole evolutionary trajectory. If you look at our evolutionary trajectory, it's still recent that women have been able to get these opportunities. And since then, if you look every single year, more women are okay with making, or their partners making less and less than before. So hypergamy is on the decline. You can look this up.
I would argue it's actually on the incline.
Okay. So we don't got to go back and forth to, in a shit throwing contest. Let's just see if it's true. This is when you're looking at research, make sure it's .gov or .edu. Those are typically peer reviewed. Okay. So this is the NIUSSP. I looked up what is IUSSP, International Union for the Scientific Study of Population. So this is Europe, but the Fresh and Fit podcast, they often talk about the West. So Europe obviously is the West. So we can extrapolate this data for the United States as well, somewhat. So they say, number one, hypergamy is on the decline in Europe. And this is 2021, so relatively recent. As the educational level of women has increased considerably in Europe, their relative socioeconomic position in heterosexual relationships has changed, and this has restructured the relationship market. So I'm assuming that they're going to link the educational level to higher income levels. They say in a recent study, I tried to assess how women's access to higher education altered the relationship market and the degree to which the decline of hypergamy, which is they define as the male education. Oh, so they are looking at hypergamy just from an educational level, but they often link higher education to higher income. So you can make a correlation there. But they're saying, without going deep into the study, they're saying that, yes, hypergamy is on the decline. In many cases, education being one of them. And hypergamy is just dating up, basically. Marrying or forming a sexual relationship with a person of a superior sociological or educational background. So she's right. Hypergamy is on the decline.
Okay, well, that's...
So, I mean, they're just debunked there.
Okay with making, or their partners making less and less than before. So hypergamy is on the decline. You can look this up.
I would argue it's actually on the incline.
You can argue that, but the stats don't support you, at least for Europe and education.
Okay, well, that's just contrary to stats, but I don't know what to do.
Well, here's the thing. There's a bunch of articles that show that women find men as less economically attractive than ever before. Why do we have higher divorce rates? Why do we have...
We don't have higher divorce rates. We don't have higher divorce rates in the past. And how long? How long?
Okay, look.
We can look that up, too. Are divorce rates higher? Are they peaking? Okay, so this is census.gov. So this is U.S. Both the marriage and divorce rates of U.S. women aged 15 and older, 15, whoa, for marriage? What? Okay, anyways, declined from 2011 to 2021. So this is probably the most recent info that they have. The divorce dropped to 6.9 from 9.7. So in 2021, the divorce rate was 6.9. In 2021, that was 2 years ago, from 2023. In 2011, it was down. 2011, it was 9.7. So it's actually dropped considerably. So she's right yet again here. She's right. I mean,
we have higher divorce rates. Why do we have?
We don't have higher
marriages?
divorces. We don't have higher divorce
and he's like,
rates in the past. And how long?
but yeah, she says, in how long? Recently, divorce is going down if you compare it to 10 years ago. So she's right again here. And he wrote a book on this. Myron wrote a book on this. I hope he didn't use these old stats that he's referring to because they're not recent.
How long?
Okay, look.
How long?
Divorce rates
Yes.
are women initiate 70 to 80% of divorces.
Yes, and you constantly.
And marriages are at the lowest that they've ever been.
Yes.
Why is that?
So this is something I see you do. You don't understand stats. Like you just don't get it.
Here we
Okay.
go.
So for instance, you
Shots fired.
say college educated women, for instance, initiate more of the divorces, right?
Mhm.
Which is true. But then you take that, I've seen you do it, you don't get it. Then you say, oh, college educated women are more likely to get divorced. They're actually way less likely to get divorced. One of the best things you can do to actually prevent divorce is to get married to a college educated woman, especially.
So hold on, we got a fact checker. It's because she been right. Is she spitting or is she not? Are college educated women more likely to divorce? Let's see. And I'm not doing these .coms. I'm only doing research. Census.gov, IUSSP, Pew Research is a very good database to get your research from. About half of first marriages in the U.S. are likely to survive at least 20 years, according to government estimates. But for one demographic group, marriages last longer than most. College-educated women have an almost 8 in 10 chance of still being married after 2 decades. So it's only, for the general population, it's only half of first marriages are going to be for 20 years. But with college-educated women, there's 8 out of 10. So you go from 50% to 80%. So she's right yet again, and they break it down here. All women, high school or less has the worst chance. Some college, meaning you didn't finish, 49%. But for those who completed a 4-year bachelor's degree, 78%. She's right. Whether you are dick riding fresh and fit or not, she has been right 3 times in a row. She's pulling these stats out her head like she's a thesaurus or an almanac, not a thesaurus, an almanac is what I meant. Like, she's right.
Especially if you're looking at longevity, a college-educated woman is 80% likely to have a marriage that lasts at least 20 years.
That's right. That's literally what I just pulled up. 80%, 8 out of 10 is 80%.
A woman without a college degree is only 40% likely. But you guys conflate that because you're like, they're more likely to initiate a divorce. So when 2 people are getting divorced, yeah, a woman that has more resources is going to be more likely to initiate and leave a shitty situation. But those women are actually less likely to marry people or get into circumstances where they're going to divorce in the first place. One of the number one things you should look for if you're looking to make sure your marriage lasts is to marry a college-educated woman. These stats have been replicated year after year after year. They're in 2023. I looked up 2023 stats right before this. One group of women has marriages that last the longest and are least likely to get divorced, and that is college-educated women. But you guys constantly conflate those stats.
Yeah.
She's spitting hot fire, super hot fire. So remember where all this came from. This conversation is coming from, can men be open on their side but not women? But then Myron, he keeps saying shit. He's spitting his usual talking points. If you watch Fresh and Fit, it's the same shit every time. They say that like the exact, it's like script. They say it the same thing every time. The only thing that differentiates it are the guests. If you have interesting women who want to talk and have a conversation, it's a more interesting show. If you have ratchet chicks that get kicked out, it's more entertaining. But if you just have people who disagree with you, you'll see that it's just the same stuff. But she is absolutely right. But they keep veering off that original point because he keeps saying stuff that's not true. And then she has to jump in and be like, no, statistically, that's not true. And she's been right. That's 3 in a row.
Yeah, but it's harder for college-educated women to find a man in the first place because their standards go up alongside it. And again,
so let's look at that. I'm trying to be fair. We gonna fact check both of them. Is it harder for college-educated women to marry? Daily Beast. Yeah, so I mean, there are some articles. There are no studies. Okay, here's one. Are educated women less likely to get married? A new analysis of U.S. Census data indicates that despite cultural messages to the contrary, the success gap in which better educated women marry less is actually shrinking. So it might be true. This is old, 2008. But what he's saying might be true, but even as recent as 2008, it was decreasing. So it's a whole big study. Again, y'all can go look these up yourself. This is Bryant.edu. Let's keep going with the video though.
And
That's not true though.
I think he's just using old stats. He's using statistics that are not relevant anymore because they have changed so much in the past 10, 15, 20 years.
If you're with, like, I'm a lawyer, I could marry a lawyer in 2 seconds. I'm constantly around other lawyers. College educated women are around more educated men. The best position you could be in to marry a lawyer is to be a lawyer yourself. They marry lawyers most often.
What percentage of men are lawyers?
Well, what percentage of women?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, what percent of women are lawyers? Like,
But rather
as
to be
we become-
happier than in a miserable relationship.
No. What I'm trying to say, because here's the thing, we got completely off topic there. All I'm saying, because this all started with me saying that just because we have modern conveniences does not necessarily mean that women have changed their mating practices. Women still want a man superior to them in almost every way if given choice.
But it's going down as times change. So you guys are teaching something that's actually becoming less and less valid as time.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's using old studies. Like it was true what he's saying at one point, but in the past, I don't think he pulled enough studies from the past 10, 15 years.
Time goes on. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know about that, because even though women are more educated now than ever before and they have all the opportunities, all the same rights and privileges, they still want a man that's better than them. I would argue hypergamy goes up as women are educated because women are less likely to settle when they are higher earners.
Well, I mean,
Not if you're surrounded by, like, if you're a lawyer or a doctor or a dentist and you work around those people. That's not hypergamy to date another doctor, lawyer, dentist. It will be hypergamy to then try to go find like a millionaire or something.
I mean, technically, yeah, but these women don't have to settle because you're around other high earners.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's not hypergamy when you're dating within your socioeconomic status.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, you're around, like, lawyers tend to marry. It's called assortative mating. It's you're around other lawyers. You're going to marry lawyers, marry other lawyers. Doctors marry other doctors. If I'm in a law office 24/7, it's so easy for me to marry a lawyer. This idea that you guys have, I don't know, in Miami
I don't know about
podcasting.
if it's so easy to marry one, but
yeah, I don't know about Miami podcasting world, but lawyers are not marrying 18-year-olds that work at McDonald's. They're marrying other lawyers.
So go watch my red pill video, man. I talk about this. A lot of stuff they say, it's only relevant to like Miami or these cities where there are a bunch of tourists, there are a bunch of there's a huge entertainment nightlife industry. Dating, like, it's not going to apply to the average American in Iowa, even in other parts of Florida. Like, if you're out in, I don't know, what's the country part of Florida, Tallahassee or something, like, what they're saying is not really going to apply to you. It's for the people who are in the nightlife in Miami.
Engineers are marrying other engineers.
The point is that men are not pigeon-toed to marry within their class, their socioeconomic level,
They are.
etc.
He said pigeon-toed. Oh, yeah, pigeon-toed. I think he meant pigeonholed. Men are not pigeon-toed. Do we need to look up a study on this? All right, I'm going to get back at it.
Marrying 18-year-olds that work at McDonald's. They're marrying other lawyers. Engineers are marrying other engineers.
The point is that men are not pigeon-toed to marry within their class, their socioeconomic level,
They are.
etc.
It's the attraction similarity hypothesis. It's one of the most researched theories in the psychology of attraction.
Oh, she's spit. I gotta look all this stuff up. She having me look stuff up. Attraction, similarity. Because maybe she's just making shit up. I mean, let's really vet this. Let's not just take her or him at their word. It explains that people tend to be attracted to people that are similar to themselves. These similarities, values, beliefs, attitudes, cultural backgrounds, and even small behaviors like posture. Right.
Attraction. You tend to make across.
So this is what I was saying in my red pill video. You know, the video I say red pill is making you dumber. I mean, it's because of stuff like this. You can see she's pulling the facts out. She really studied before she came on here. And the facts, the stats so far are on her side. And in my red pill video, I mentioned, like, you don't have to be like this millionaire, billionaire, buff, athletic dude to get girls. But this is what Fresh and Fit teach you. And and in my video, just go watch it if you haven't. I'm gonna stop referencing it. Shameless plug, I know. But in their videos, this is what they teach you. You have to be this. You have to be that. No, what happens is you're gonna get a lot of money. You're gonna lead with your money, and then you're gonna get used by women because you have led with your money, right? The average guy, the average married person, is married to people in a similar social economic status as them. This is what the Fresh and Fit podcast, they like to speak in generalities, but they don't acknowledge the generality that most people, the average person, is dating another person who's very similar in a socioeconomic status to them. It's very rare that you're going to find like what she's talking about, a millionaire and a poor person, or these two sides of the extremes. But they speak in generalities, but they are advocating for these extremes. Like it doesn't make sense. It sounds good because they say it loud, they say it aggressive, they shut the women down. But I mean, if you're just a logical person like me, like, it doesn't add up. I'm glad she's pointing this out.
IQ, across socioeconomic status, across education. This is how people generally mate.
Facts.
Generally.
Men
Well, we're talking about
Generally, that's what y'all talking. Fresh. Oh my gosh.
biology of a
Fresh said generally. That's what y'all talk about. We're speaking in generalities. We're generally, that's what y'all always talk about.
attraction. You tend to mate across IQ, across socioeconomic status, across education. This is how people generally mate.
Generally.
Men
Well,
are
we're talking
totally
about
okay with dating
generally.
down.
They're
Men are
more
totally
okay.
down.
They're more okay with dating down. And again, I don't know what. Maybe in new money world it's different, but lawyers and doctors, they're not marrying girls like that work at CVS. It's just not a thing. And they're not marrying hot girls off Instagram. My mom's a lawyer, my sisters are lawyers, my cousins are lawyers, all my friends are lawyers. If we all met up and one of them was like, "Oh, I'm bringing my girlfriend," this 19-year-old I met on Instagram, never would happen. They're dentists, they're other lawyers, they're.
Yeah, they're not gonna bring them around y'all because like.
But are they marrying them? If they're marrying them,
Marrying is what she's saying.
Listen,
if they're marrying them,
They're
then.
marrying you, and you're divorcing them, and then they're going with a hotter.
But I'm
chick.
way.
Bro, what are you talking about, bro? He doesn't have a fortitude for this conversation. Leave it to her and Myron.
Far less likely to divorce them. That's what
No,
I just
you're
told
not.
you. Yes, look up the stats.
No, they're not. Okay, do we need to look it up? We already did. She's referencing this study again. Educated women, are they less likely to divorce? It wasn't this one. I actually took the study down, but we already looked at it.
College-educated women get divorced the least. The likelihood that my marriage is going to last 20 years is 80%. I don't know who here just has a high school education. That's 40%. That's double.
You specifically.
Look, you got the dick riding squad. She's saying real.
Years is
She's saying
80%.
real
I don't-
stuff. If he was a good host, he would pull up the study to prove her wrong if he thinks she's wrong. But the thing is, he probably pulled it up, saw that she was right, and was like, "Nah, we're not gonna pull that up on the screen." You got dick riding squad right here. Yeah, let's make jokes, haha. But she's really spitting right now.
I don't know who here just has a high school education. That's 40%. That's double.
You specifically, or you mean women that are lawyers?
College
College
educated.
educated. Come on.
Me, I don't
Keep
even
up.
believe marriage, so not me. But
So
Look, speechless. Look
a
at
high
it.
school education, that's 40%. That's double.
You specifically, or you mean women that are lawyers?
College educated women.
Look at it.
Me, I don't even believe marriage, so not me. But
yo,
I don't know. I'm gonna just chuckle awkwardly. It's a checkmate, man. Where my chessboard at? Checkmate. It hit different when the OnlyFans model come with the stats, man. It hit different. Oh,
It hit different.
wrong sound. They
you know what's
different.
funny? You should date Destiny.
She shifted.
Are you
Yeah,
in a
shifted
bad
the
faith?
goalpost.
Are you in a bad faith?
It doesn't.
That's
Like I said
what you're
before, I
saying.
address a bunch of your points, and then you're like moving it.
no,
like,
what
oh, no,
point?
it's like.
No, it's quite the opposite. You keep bringing up stuff that is inaccurate. So she has to, like, the things he's bringing up are like kind of like the pillars of his argument, that the final point he's going to make. But if none of the pillars are strong, your argument has nothing to stand on, literally. So she's just knocking the pillars down. Like, no, actually, college-educated women are less likely to get divorced. No, what was the other study? No, hypergamy is not on the rise. It's on the decline. So you can't build this argument based on that. It's not that she's moving the goalposts. Like it's called a fact checking.
No, what point did you address? I like to argue. I'm a lawyer. So
Yeah, no, I know that, but like the whole point about like you're saying rational.
So is she a lawyer or OnlyFans? I hadn't watched the whole episode. Is she a lawyer or is she OnlyFans or is she both?
Agree. Like women, times have changed and women have changed and have evolved in it. But I would argue women have not evolved because women still want a man that's over 6 feet tall.
Do you know
They
how
still
long
want
it
a man-
takes for evolution? Like, so the fact that women have been able to work
I
is
get
actually
that, but
very
my
recently.
argument is simply that women haven't really changed that much as to what they're attracted to. That's all I was
If
arguing.
that's the
You
case-
tried to make the argument that they did because of modern conveniences. I'm arguing evil modern conveniences. Women haven't really changed what they're attracted to.
There's so many articles. I implore your audience to looking up how hypergamy is on the decline. It's still a thing. I'll give you that, but it's on the decline as circumstances change.
If it's on a decline, why are more men reporting lower levels of sex and
You can say why, but bro, the studies don't support what you're saying, brother. The studies don't support you.
ever before?
That's are you looking at the 2018 study? Because
No, there
that
was
has
one
not-
literally that just came out that
Look at
showed
her. She read every study. She like, I read all of them, bro.
guys between 18
Well,
to 20.
part of the reason that that's also happening is because people are getting married older. So a lot of the reason people had sex younger before is because they were married. That's one of the reasons that people say that. And I'm not saying that some men don't have it tough out here, but
not some, a majority.
it's not a majority.
Yes, it is.
A majority of men aren't struggling?
A majority of men are not. I mean, maybe majority of your audience, but
Hey, she called y'all incels.
No, a majority of men,
Majority of men in general are struggling with women. If they weren't, you weren't able to leave a lucrative law career and go into OnlyFans and make a bunch of money.
So she was a lawyer, then went into OnlyFans. Okay.
OnlyFans is only because men are struggling.
Yes.
Upwards of 90% of men, very normal, educated men. Far more educated than No, they're not though. I have so many couples that watch me. Upwards of 90% of men consume and watch porn.
Maybe 2% of your audience.
No.
We're saying most men that work a regular job are struggling.
You guys also don't understand that highly educated people don't have the same views on sex work as you guys do. So a lot of them, if they're gonna watch porn, they rather watch it in an ethical way. OnlyFans is a way you can watch it ethically. The money goes directly to the creator. Nobody's under 18. We all have to be verified. I feel like
again, not a fan of OnlyFans. I don't really respect that type of work, but I can respect her calling it. I've never looked at it like that. Ethical sex work, because yeah, you do have to be 18. You do got to verify your ID on OnlyFans. You do have to the money does go directly to the creator, not some pimp or not some brothel institution escort service. So I've never looked at it like that, but it's a fair point she makes. Even though I don't really respect OnlyFans like that, I respect that viewpoint.
Guys who get pussy don't subscribe to OnlyFans.
that's absolutely not the case. That's just not the case. I mean, you can.
Guys, she said guys who get pussy don't subscribe to OnlyFans. That's like saying guys who get girls don't watch porn, which is, I mean, false.
Feel that way, but that's just not true.
I don't know. That's how I feel.
The reason why pornography is so popular nowadays, especially, is because it's so easily accessible. You can get it for free. Guys are able to satisfy their sexual thirst through variety, through the internet, and a lot of guys are struggling with women. I mean, this is a fact at this point. This isn't.
I don't disagree with that. I definitely think a lot of guys are struggling with women.
Even like, I don't think so, blah blah blah. A majority of men absolutely struggle with dating and meeting women in the
What do you mean by
place.
struggle? Like, where was that? Like, how is struggle? How is that tested for? Like, what is struggle? Like, they're having, like, that just means they can't get every girl they want, or are they not having sex? Like, majority of men are not having sex, unless you're looking at a specific cohort age group or that 2008.
How do you know?
What do you mean? How do I know? Because that's not what the stats show.
I mean,
what's your study?
What do you mean? What's my study? Just
this dude. Come on, dude. Stop talking, dude. Stop talking.
like that same 2018 graph that all the incels, like you guys, and you, not saying you guys are, but you guys use, that's not been replicated in 2019, 2020, 2021. That actually shows more women are having less sex than men are.
Okay, hold on. Let's fact check her. Are women having less sex than men? Oh, Lex. Don't enjoy as much. 1 in 3 having no sex. Casual sex one night stands are on the decline for women. Let's see. This ain't a study. This is USA Today. Okay, but they link a study. Casual sex has steadily decreased in recent years. I'm surprised to hear that. Due to the pandemic, fair. There's a clear main reason why behind young women, less alcohol. Okay. More regret, casual. Okay. I'll have to look deeper into that, but.
And though even that one was at a third, I don't know where you guys are getting majority. Majority is over 50%.
Facts.
And if you guys are saying struggling, you have to define struggling. Struggling is a very vague term. So if you're saying
I like her. Like she logical debater. I fuck with that.
Struggling in the sense of, oh, they're struggling because they can't get the baddest bitch on Instagram. Sure. But what do you mean by struggling?
Most guys have a very difficult time getting dates, getting any type of intimacy from a female, and being able to be successful in their dating ventures. Most guys really struggle. Women find 80-90% of men is unattractive on Tinder, Bumble, and all the dating apps. Guys struggle on that. A lot of guys have issues with being able to go up to a girl and talk to her. I'm sure plenty of you guys have experiences where a guy comes up to you and he's awkward, he's stammering, he can't necessarily say what he wants to say. But what I'm saying is that the reason why pornography is exploding in popularity is because so many guys struggle with women and so many guys are socially awkward and aren't able to convey attraction through the way that they behave, the way that they speak.
I don't think pornography is just like some of us, like, I mean, even when I'm in a relationship and I'm horny, I masturbate, I look at porn. Like sometimes even if you're happy in your sex life, those men still look at.
Here's the key word. You don't have to do that.
Yeah,
but how are you assuming they have to?
They have to, right.
If they're watching it, they have to, but if
I'm not go out and get laid as quickly and as easily as you can?
No, but
that's beyond the point, brother.
Different.
That's very important though.
Yeah, but just because they can't do it as easily as I can doesn't mean that every time they're watching porn is because they have no other option. They don't have sex with anyone ever. Right? Like a lot of men, upwards of 90 men watch porn. Upwards of 90 men single, 90% of men single. I mean, maybe you guys are going to say upwards of 90% of men are all struggling and they're desperate. Men
don't have the same sexual access and ability to attract the opposite gender that women do. So even if they are getting laid with maybe one girl or maybe a girlfriend that no longer fucks them or takes them seriously, whatever, does not necessarily mean that they're still not struggling with females in general, especially if they have a female or they have a girlfriend. She's not getting them sex anymore. She's not attracted to them.
But you're creating a false dichotomy. You're saying that, okay, if I'm watching porn, then that's 100%, obviously, I still could get somebody else. But you're saying
she not letting no bullshit go. Every little, that's why he thinks she's getting off track. No, she's not getting off track. She's just not letting no bullshit go. Anything that's, she's like, no, define struggling. Define this. The study says this. Yo, she on head tops right now. She on head tops for real.
Every time a guy is watching porn, every guy that's on OnlyFans has no options. They can't get sex. They're all
I
struggling.
didn't say that.
No, but
I
most
said
guys.
excessive porn consumption a lot of the times is a byproduct.
Excessive? Excessive?
Now,
Like
now he's changing it. Excessive, as opposed to someone subscribing to OnlyFans or just watching porn.
problematic porn use, because that's what the medical term for it is. I think that you have more of a case for, but not just normal consumption of porn.
Consumption of porn. Here's the thing. Guys
Is
that
all
are good with
consumption
women,
of porn excessive?
guys that are good with women typically don't watch pornography.
And where are you getting that from? Is there a stat on?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Where's your stats on that? Because that's just not true.
Or are you just, is that your feelings?
No, that's not my feelings.
Oh, is that your feelings?
That's just, I mean, that's anecdotal at that point.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
every guy I know
That's
that's
true.
good with women, which is
Anecdotal, so it is your feelings. But now you want to bring up anecdotes. And this show, they always say your anecdotal evidence does not matter. What's in general? But now you want to bring up anecdotes.
the minority,
Okay.
right? So you can't do a study on that. You can't go line up a bunch of guys like, okay, I need guys that have a lay count of this much, blah, blah, blah. Everybody that I know that's good with women typically does not watch pornography.
Okay, so if we're
And-
just doing a battle of the anecdotes, I know plenty of guys
So how would you know if they watch porn or not?
that are good with women and they still watch pornography. So now we're just
Yeah, she's like, yeah, if you want to do anecdotes, well, I know the opposite anecdote.
your anecdote versus
You
mine.
don't know that though.
What do you mean I don't? So you know and I don't?
Yeah,
They
right,
talk to you, but they
right.
don't talk to
Well, they're not going to be they're not going to be as honest with you. They're going to try to maybe put themselves in a certain light, or maybe they're having sex with
Well, at that
prostitutes.
point, your claim isn't
you know, or
falsifiable. And
or
if it's
they're
not,
having sex with prostitutes, etc. Like they're not going to be as honest with a
Yeah, she is cooking this nigga. Facts.
with a female. And again, like I said before,
then your
I mean,
claim is not
it's-
falsifiable. If it's not
it's
falsifiable, we're not
ludicrous.
talking about logic
Here's
and
the thing.
science.
The bottom line is this: men absolutely struggle in
He don't want to go back to that point.
the sexual marketplace with finding and dealing and dating with women.
What did that super chat say? Hold on.
Men absolutely struggle in the sexual
You can see the dick riders in the chat. Allowing her to interrupt him, man.
marketplace with finding and dealing and dating with women. Like that's a fact. That's
Yeah,
not even
some men. But you
a
see,
majority.
I don't know about majority. It depends what you mean by. So you're saying they struggle. They're not getting all the women they want. I would say yes. Then that's true. If that's what you mean by struggle, then
Their
yes.
mental health is literally freaking crushed.
Can I
Like,
explain something to you that I said
Guys,
earlier?
yeah, guys are absolutely struggling with women. That's like a
Some
fact.
guys, yeah.
I would argue majority.
Yeah, you would argue majority. I would say it's not a majority. So that's where we disagree.
What percentage do you think struggle then?
I don't like to talk about what I just think. I like to look at what data we have available, and I have.
Yeah, but you also have to be realistic and understand that some studies are not going to pass ethical standards.
That's
They're not
well,
going
yeah.
to be able to do
Okay,
it,
so
etc. So you have to use a
trust
little
me.
bit
I
of common
looked at
sense
a
as
lot
well.
of studies, and I look at the ones that are replicable, falsifiable, peer review. I know how to read studies, and so I mean, I'm sure there's stats on there, but even the worst ones I've seen show it at about a third. A third is still not a majority.
That's still a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. I
And-
agree.
and
Yeah, so what she's referencing right there, she's referencing this study when she says a third. 1 in 3 men in the U.S. report having no sex. So she's saying, yeah, it may be a problem, but Myron is saying, no, it's the majority. But 1 in 3 is not a majority. It's 33%, 33.3%. That's what she's saying.
that's
I
just the
agree.
guys that are reporting, and we know that men
But
are
we
more
have
likely.
no way of
and we
knowing
know
that
men are
those
more
guys.
likely to over-report their sexual activity.
Well, we also have no way of knowing that those men that are struggling are the ones watching OnlyFans or watching more porn.
Can I say
A lot
something?
of a problematic porn use also overlaps with like anxiety, depression. There's a bunch of other stuff. There's something called moral incongruence. So they've done tests where they look at men who watch a lot of like think they have a problem with porn and men who don't think they have a problem, and like how much it's interfering with their daily activities,
I'm just saying
etc.
porn consumption is a component of guys struggling with women. I'm not saying that is the reason. I'm saying that's a component as to
Now he's trying to minimize it. Now that's moving the goalpost.
why guys
So
struggle.
you're saying it's correlated or it's causing, or what do you say?
It's a part of the issue.
So which one comes
Why
first?
guys-
The egg or which one comes first?
Guys struggle with women.
And then they watch porn, or so watching porn doesn't make them struggle. Like some people make that claim. Sorry, I'm just trying to clarify.
It could be either or. Every situation
It
is
could be
different.
either
It could be
or.
either or. So, but what I'm saying is that the bottom line is that men struggle with women, and a way to deal with struggling with women and being able to get the variety or the sexual access that they want is they revert to pornography.
That's one way, but there's also, if you look at the people that watch porn, that's one reason someone might watch porn, but there are a multitude of other reasons. That's what I'm saying. Some people are just fucking horny.
I literally just said that too. That's just one component. It could be going through pornography.
I know, but your initial claim,
prostitutes, etc.
was that, oh, the reason that this is happening with pornography is just because of this.
I never said just
okay,
because.
okay, so it's just
He
one.
didn't say just because, but that was like a leading argument for him. You work in this. If you're able to make a living in OnlyFans, that shows that men. That was like the crux of what he was saying.
Never said just because.
Okay, I would say it's a component then. I agree with you. I'm sorry if I just said you said just because if you didn't, but I
No.
don't even think it's a huge component.
All
I
we're
just,
saying is that your industry literally
Boy, you need to stop talking, man.
is a majority of men, and as a result, these men are lazy. They don't want to go. Some men, of course, don't want to go out and talk to girls because they just watch
yes,
you.
it's a percentage of them, yes, but I don't even think that's a big percentage, and that's where we disagree on unless we have evidence for either.
I
of our
see why
claims
she
or
quit.
just-
Went off.
Well, okay.
Now we go with the insults. Well, I see why she quit being a lawyer and went to OF. No, y'all getting cooked, bro. Like cope as much as you want. Y'all are getting cooked.
God damn.
But regardless, men do watch you, and the majority of your audience is men.
Yeah, the majority of my audience is men,
So,
correct.
yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're all lonely men, or that they're all lazy men, or that they can't get girls, or any of those claims. there.
They put you on mute.
I think
A lot of guys struggle with women, man. I mean, like I said before, there's a reason why we got like 20,000, 15 to 20K people watching us or whatever it may be. Like a lot of guys watch this type of content. There's been an explosion in dating content. Why is that? The reason why is because there's clearly an issue with guys being able to meet, deal, and date.
Well, number one, a lot of guys are like me who just watch this stuff because it is ECW. Why am I going to watch amateur wrestling in the Olympics with all these rules and technicalities when I could watch ECW and watch a man get put through a flaming table and land on thumbtacks? It's entertainment, bro. So there's a portion of the male audience who watch Fresh and Fit for that. But he also has to realize, like, pickup artists, like the community and all that, it's all funneled into this channel. So your channel is not an accurate representation of the average person, even though you have people from all around the world, different education levels. It's going to be, and I said this in my Red Pill video, it's going to be biased because of what your channel represents. It's not an accurate representation. If someone were to take a survey off the 20,000 people who are watching you, it would not pass research standards. Like if someone were to take a survey of your audience to get a poll on the general population's opinion on a question, especially regarding relationships, polling your 20,000 people is not going to be accurate because they are biased. Like they are in a certain place. It's like going to a bar and asking people about their opinions on alcohol. Do you think alcohol is good for the society or bad for the society? You're at a bar to begin with asking these questions. Like you're at Fresh and Fit and you're trying to extrapolate your audience data and what they think about relationships to the general population. But they're on Fresh and Fit to begin with. Like they're more than likely, unless they're like me watching for entertainment, they look at y'all as like gods. Like they're like insecure people to begin with. So you can't pull. You have to pull people from different, who are at different places, not just people who are watching Red Pill Manosphere content.
Yeah, there is an issue, and the ones that watch this are probably the ones that have the issue. I agree.
Bang.
And there's a rise of virgins.
Bang.
Especially on the men's side as well.
Yeah, and we're looking at.
They already talked about that, buddy. That was the 1 in 3 study. Catch up.
Like in the age range, and that's what I said. We're also getting married later.
Under 30.
Yeah, we're getting married
Women
later.
find most men unattractive.
Yeah.
But I don't.
He's trying to get a victory anywhere. Like, let me just jump to the next point. Well, women find X men unattractive.
See how that relates to the.
That absolutely
That
relates
makes
because
us
since
struggle.
women find most men as unattractive and not good candidates, they're not going to give them a chance, and those guys struggle.
agreed.
Yeah, but
That's all I'm trying to say.
But
Like, a lot of guys
most
struggle
men are
with
not. So like most of these men that are unattractive, like there's no data that indicates tall men get married more. Fat men, actually fat men, there's some studies that show they have more sex. Poor people have more kids than rich people. This idea that only the top
That's because they're not as likely to use contraception. They don't have access to.
But they're
birth
having
control.
sex. No, even when you look at partners though, like when you look at partners, like it's average to tall guys have on average 3 more partners. Weight, BMI doesn't seem to have an effect on it.
Game.
Okay, well then they have game. Okay, whatever you want to say, but this
Oh, Fresh, stop talking, dude.
idea that you have to
Money.
be rich, you have to be this, you have to be. Wait,
Fresh,
Shut the fuck up!
please.
there's a reason that rich guys are not having that much more sex than some poor guys. They're just having sex with different women because we tend to have sex with people around us.
But it's also intent as well.
It's what?
If I intend to do something, I have intention behind my actions, that will get what I want.
So yeah, men who want to have sex. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yo, what the fuck is this nigga talking? Like, what is he talking about? Hold on.
So yeah, men then they have game. Okay, whatever you want to say, but this idea that you have to
Money.
be rich, you have to be this, you have to be. Wait, there's a reason that rich guys are not having that much more sex than some poor guys. They're just having sex with different women because we tend to have sex with people around us.
But it's also intent as well.
It's what?
If I intend to do something, I have intention behind my actions, that will get what I want.
So yeah, men who want to have sex. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But can they is a question.
And
men
we're
can.
seeing that fat men can't do it just as much as fit men, and we're seeing short men do it almost as much as tall men. So this idea that people are mating. Okay, everyone's mating. A lot of people. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people are, and it's not just the tall, it's not just the rich, it's not just the skinny.
Facts. Yo, if she watched my Red Pill video when I broke like this community down, she would agree. Like, yo, I just didn't have the stats and the research ready. She got the stats and research ready. I didn't have it ready, but I said this similar. Like, you don't have to be this tall, athletic, 6'2" billionaire to get girls. If you need all that, bro, you're gonna get used by the women who do end up pulling, because they're just gonna use you, bro.
People are mating. People are having sex.
With who they want
Women
to?
are.
Or
Men, a lot of men. Women are having sex with a smaller percent. Well, there's a reason why only
can't take
40%
the
of men
L.
since the beginning of time have been able to pass on their genes, versus like 99% of women have been able to pass on their genes
That's
since the beginning of time.
99%. Let's look it up. Do 99% of women on there, and he's saying since the beginning of time. Can we quantify that with a specific year? Yeah, he's right. He's right. Okay, this is the Guardian. Let's go to Smithsonian. I think that's a little more reputation than the Guardian. Yeah, more women were reproducing than more men were. Well, there's more women in general, and then they're probably sleeping with a lot of the same guys. I don't know if they put a percentage on it. He says 99% of women have passed on their genes. So that's pretty much every single woman. I don't know if they... I'm trying to look for a percentage, percent. Okay, so 99%, it doesn't even sound right, so... Anyway.
What do you mean when you say the beginning of time?
Since the beginning of time, humans...
Like the Big Bang? Because we weren't even...
The Big Bang Theory? Like, what do you mean? Beginning of time?
Here we go. You're moving the goalposts. I'm simply telling you.
No, like, she's just not letting bullshit slide. Like, what do you mean? Like, the beginning of time. When you say the beginning of time, I think the Big Bang Theory also.
It's just a bizarre claim. No, beginning of time. Are we telling a story?
No.
Science?
Look, I'm simply saying it's a phrase. What I'm basically telling you is men, since the beginning of human evolution, have had issues with mating. It's not just a modern situation.
The beginning of human evolution would be a Big Bang Theory, right? We evolved from enzymes and bacteria, no?
40% of men have been able to procreate, versus 90+% of women have been able to procreate. So what does that tell you? That tells you that a majority of men are just unattractive to a majority of women, and that's okay because women are the ones that carry on the next generation. So they have to be more selective in their mating practices. What I'm saying is that as a byproduct of women being more selective in their mating practices, a majority of men are virtually invisible. That's what I'm saying.
I disagree with it being a majority, but I don't want to keep everyone.
Fantastic. Okay.
Bad faith for like almost 30 minutes.
She had things that she had to speak about.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
It's fine.
Where are we at here? Okay, ladies, if a woman.
Okay, so some sources say 80%, some say 90%, but none of these are really like reputable sources. But the 90% is in reference to animal species, which I assume includes other mammals than humans. Yeah, some say 4 or 5 women reproduce for every 1 man. No real reputable studies that I can find on a whim.
Woman demands that you can only smash her. She should be ready to get.
I think we were on.
And I think that's where I want to end. Is that it?
You're not boring.
No, it's choice.
Because you're selective, which is what I was saying before.
It's choice.
Yeah, but I'm not selecting for the things. I'm not selecting for resources and all the things you got.
Okay, so that was pretty much the video right there, yo. You can even tell how this video is titled. You know, this is some dick riding right here because he didn't debunk anything. Like, she cooked, and she, you know, I went and looked up the studies as they were arguing. She was right 4 or 5 times. She's like 4-0. And this little segment, maybe he cooked her, maybe mine cooked her, you know, the rest of the video, but she came prepared with this. So again, if you haven't watched my red pill video, is it making you dumber? I think it's making you dumber. Because as you can see, Myron, who's a lot of y'all God, he wasn't even factually correct in this debate right here. So shout out to her. She really did her thing right there. That's a flawless victory. Yo, and be sure to subscribe if you have not already. This is top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.